Today we're with Darryl Petfield from Sarina Russo Apprenticeships. He's the Business Development Manager for Queensland. Welcome, Darryl.
Oh, thank you.
We're getting you in to really explain this, the user choice program that Bizmatrix recently got qualified for, where all our training is covered by funding through the Department of Education and Training. But specifically, it's an apprenticeship program or a traineeship program. I never really understood the difference. What's the difference between an apprenticeship program and a traineeship?
Okay, so basically the apprenticeship program is normally the trades. Trade qualifieds are normally an apprenticeship program. Apprenticeship can go between 3 years and 4 years. They're normally a 4-year apprenticeship, 48-month full-time apprenticeship. Some apprenticeships are only 3 years, like the hairdressing and butchers and a couple of that. But this qualification is the gas fitting qualification, so it's a Certificate 3 in gas fitting.
So I remember when I did my apprenticeship, and I did an electrical apprenticeship, we had to do the 4 years. And the only way you could get out of it if you were proved competent, and generally that went right through to about 3.5 years. You had to do all your college and all that kind of stuff in those days. Yeah. Do you have to still do the 4 years?
Yeah, no, same here. When I did my apprenticeship, you went to college and you got credits, you got a certain amount of time off it and things like that. No, it's competency-based nowadays. So competency-based means that you can complete it sooner. So it all depends on the scope of work you're doing and the amount of work you're doing and the training organisation. So it can complete sooner. It's not up to me when it completes. It's more between the employer and the training organisation.
So in other words, when you say it's between the employer and the training organisation, so how do I do an apprenticeship? So I'm out there and I want to do an apprenticeship. I want to become a gas fitter.
Yep.
And I want to get that trade. Yep. How do I sign up? Do I just go into Sarina Russo and apprenticeships and say, here I am, I want to sign up, or what do I do?
Well, a good point. The thing is, with an apprenticeship, it's like our apprenticeships, you have to have an employer to sign on to. You can't just sign to an apprenticeship unless you're employed. So we need to have an employer that's prepared to put you on, or working for an employer already, and they want to put you through a training contract. Then what you need to do, once you've got the employer and you've decided, yes, we want to go down the training contract path and we want to sign up to an apprenticeship, you then notify us at Sarina Russo Apprenticeship, and we'll come out and do the paperwork. It's sort of I don't know if we can see it, the paperwork like this. This is the type of paperwork we do, and it's got the employer's details, the trainees' details, and everyone signs this contract to say that.
So it's a contract between who? Sarina Russo, who's the apprenticeship centre, is that right?
Mainly it's a contract between the employer, the apprentice, and Department of Employment, Training and Industrial Relations, but also between the RTOs. The RTO are part of the contract, and the Sarina Russo apprenticeships are part of the contract as well. So we're all joint parties, and we're all signing this paperwork to say that we're going to make sure this training contract gets completed.
So that really is to guarantee, or that everyone understands what they have to do to successfully get the person through the apprenticeship. Is that right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that must cost a bit of money. Is that costly? I know. Going back in the 1800s when I did my electrical apprenticeship, it cost the employer a lot of money, and they used to lose me for 6 weeks every year. Yep. So what's the cost to the employer today?
The cost of the employer, it's funded under, as you said before, user choice funding. So they're funded under user choice. So there's no cost to the employer for the training. There is a cost to the employer because they would need to spend time with that student, training on the job and things like that. And they may need to go away and do training, which you can probably explain later. But as a physical money cost, there's no cost to the employer.
What about any incentives? I know the government recently took away a lot of incentives, and the universities have been protesting, and we're in the private training sector. And so what does the employer get if they sign up an apprentice?
Yep, the employer the incentives for the employer, there's a commencement incentive paid at the 6-month point of $1,500. Completion incentive paid on completion of $2,500. And that completion, as we said before, it could be the 4 years, the 48 months, or it could be completed earlier. So a total of $4,000 worth of incentive.
So regardless of, as long as if they start it and they start, after 6 months or halfway through, or 6 months, and so basically if they finish in, say, 6 months, they get the full $4,000, would you say?
Yeah, if they finished it in 6 months, they could get the $4,000. Now, they have to be, there is a small criteria, Australian citizen and a few other little things that you need to meet. And as an apprenticeship centre, that's what we do. We do that sort of eligibility check and make sure they're eligible to receive those incentives.
Which is something we never discussed before. In the training contract, if a lot of plumbers do the plumbing apprenticeship and don't have the gas, and they then want to do the gas, what does the employer need to have as far as the minimum requirements?
They normally, it's a sort of a 1-to-1 ratio, so they need to have either a gas fitting licence or the qualification in gas fitting, so they can supervise. It's exactly like when we did our apprenticeship. We had to have a trades qualified person there to be the coach and mentor of the apprentice. So we need one qualified person to do that training.
Okay, no problem. And any additional incentives financially?
Yeah, there is. We didn't mention there is another fee that we might have to mention, is the student fee. So a student doing that, there's a nominal fee of $1.60 per nominal hour for the student, which they call a student fee, which is probably the only fee that they will have to pay.
Well, actually, that's actually been funded by CSQ. So that's $760 that CSQ actually paying us, the RTO, as they complete the nominal hours of the unit. So basically, it's costing the student nothing.
Excellent. Yeah.
But I think you were talking something about if they're over 25, because we have got an ageing workforce, and so.
Exactly. Everyone wants get to the age of 25 and you've either, haven't done your trade and think, I should be doing a trade and things like that. And because you're getting paid adult apprenticeship wages, it finds it hard to get that apprenticeship. So the government has put in support for Australian adult apprentice. So it's an incentive that is paid to the employer. So if you're over the age of 25, the employer may be eligible for a further $4,000, which is paid to the employer after the 12 months.
And I believe there's also incentives for if disabilities and a remoteness and all that. So which there's more detail, I believe. In your brochures are quite good, and your information pack is quite good, which you do give to the prospective employers wanting to put on apprentices.
So you've got things like living away from home allowance, disability support, and things like that. Yeah, there's a few other incentives that may be eligible.
Now, the tool allowance, I remember when I was an apprentice, I got a few dollars for tool allowance, and which bought me couple of screwdrivers. Is there a tool allowance subsidy?
There is a tool allowance, a new subsidy that's coming in. There's a new program coming in as of 1st of July, and it's called the Trade Support Loan. So basically, it realises that the tools are fairly expensive, and some of the things that an apprentice needs to buy are fairly expensive. So it's an interest-free loan to the tune of $20,000. So a $20,000 loan over the period of that apprenticeship. It's paid at different increments, but basically it's there for the apprentice to go buy some tools, maybe help purchase a car or go towards the loan of a car. It's at their expense to try and cover some of those costs they've got. So it's a $20,000 interest-free loan. They do need to pay it back. They pay it back once they earn a certain figure. Once they get to that, basically tradesmen, if they're earning more than 53,000, I think it is, just over that, they would need to pay that back. But if they complete their apprenticeship, they actually get a 20% discount on that. So whatever they loan.
The good part about this is why actually there's a lot of money being thrown at the employer, and the apprentice has been supported quite heavily. Why is that? Why is this funding available? Because I've been around a long time as an employer, and I don't remember the government ever paying me to
It's considered to be a skills needs industry. There's a lot on the skills needs list at the moment: mechanics, carpenters, panel beaters, spray painters, electricians, and gas fitting is one of those on the skills needs industry. So it's we need more of these trades qualified people. So the government is putting that incentive towards that to get more people into that qualification and get them their certificate.
Which is fantastic, and everyone complains about us bringing overseas people, but we've now got an avenue where people can actually get funding to get training, which is good. Now at Bizmatrix we basically do the RTO side, and we get that $5,960, which goes fully against the training side of it for the apprenticeship program. And we have to work in with them, is that correct, with the employer, and because the employer has to do some of the training, which we have to sign off, so that it's a complete training process where, and I think you said before, if the apprentices come straight out of school, or the potential students come out of school, then it could take 4 years because they've got no life skills, etc. But it's also open, it doesn't matter the age, it could be someone who's an electrician who wants to upskill their trade. Would you?
Yes, definitely, yeah. It's basically, and a perfect example, a plumber to a dual trade qualification. So they've got their plumbing qualification, but they've got years of experience in, certain things, tools for the trade, tools and all that sort of stuff. So it's basically competency based. So again, someone straight out of school, has never been in this industry before, may take the whole 4 years to do it. Someone with a bit of life experience and a bit more experience, they may only take 12 months or 24 months or 18 months to complete the qualification. It's definitely competency based.
Okay, and if anyone wants that information, we will have your contact details on our website, as well as our contact details, and we can certainly arrange for people to come out to discuss it, and we can do it. We can do an appraisal to see if they meet the criteria between ourselves and Sarina Russo and Bizmatrix. So, thanks for your time today.
Okay, thank you.